the fact that literally 3 weeks from now, we're going to be celebrating Hanukkah. Interesting enough, Hamavdil ben Kodesh Lehol, this year Hanukkah happens to be on the night of the 25th day of December, I believe. It's on a Wednesday night. It is not automatic that both events, Hamavdil ben Kodesh Lehol, happens to be on the same date. For us, really does not make a difference, but it's an interesting concept, and probably we're going to have some halachic explanation on the reason why these 2 dates coincide, which, as I said before, it's irrelevant for us because really there is no meaningfulness to the date of December 25th. Whatever they tell you is Devarim Betelim, but we'll discuss it when the right time comes. Now, but one halachic matter, it's important, is to what? To remember that occasionally Rosh Chodesh Kislev could be 1 day or 2 days. It all depends on the code that is relevant to the year. The Jewish calendar has codes. We're not going to discuss them now, but the way that they are determined is like a 7 setups of the Jewish calendar, and sometimes, depending on the year, Rosh Chodesh Kislev is 1 day or 2 days. What difference does it make to us? To most of us, does not make a huge difference. The opposite. But the only question it comes about if someone that needs to celebrate Bar Mitzvah, when they were born, what code year they were born, and when is they celebrating the Bar Mitzvah. I already heard 1 or 2 cases that happen in the state of Florida. So if anyone has this case, by now it's going to be late. You should have asked me this question before you planned the Bar Mitzvah. But since I don't see anybody today celebrating a Bar Mitzvah, so therefore we are able to continue with the class. Now, what is the siman of the month of Kislev? Interesting enough, Sefer Toda'ah writes, and it says the rainbow. The rainbow is the sign of and there is a zodiac sign. I think there is a rainbow, not rainbow, an arrow. Hazako Baruch, Sagittarius. Now, why it's a bow? Because that represents the Mabul, post-Mabul, God's reaction. The Pasuk writes in Sefer Bereshit that after the Mabul took place and there was literally the world was like completely wiped out, Hashem made a commitment. What was the commitment? That never again the world will be destroyed simultaneously like it happened in the Mabul, but Hashem, as a reminder to us, will send the rainbow. Now, what's the format of the rainbow? Like an arch. Same thing like the Sagittarius. That's the reason why the sign of the zodiac is Sagittarius. Because when is the first time in history that the rainbow appeared? According to the Sefer Toda'ah, in the month of Kislev. Listen to the Pasuk. Vayomer Elokim, the Almighty says, Zot od haberit, this is the sign of the covenant, Asher ani noten beni ubenechem, between you and I, uben kol nefesh haya, and all living souls, Asher itechem ledorot olam, till Mashiach comes. What is God's covenant? Et kashti natati be'anan, the arrow, the rainbow, right, the bow, is the sign of the, instead of the Mabul, Zot ot beriti, this is the covenant that Hashem made. Berashat Zo, it was said to Noah, according to one opinion, what day? On the day of Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Also, according to the Sefer Toda'ah, he explains sources from Pesukim that today, Rosh Chodesh Kislev, was the first time in history that meat was allowed to be eaten. Today was the day that Noah offered the Korban post the Mabul. Unbelievable concept. So you should go to La Matera. La Matera, I'm giving you a free plug for those who know the restaurant. Sure. Kosher Miami. Very nice. They have tomahawk. They have all the madregot from empanadas to puchero to rib. I don't know how much this advertisement cost La Matera. Can you convey the message? You know what I'm talking about? Can you convey the message that the rabbi did give a nice announcement of meat in Rosh Chodesh? And the discount code is called Noah Barbecue. Because today was the first time in history that a barbecue was made. True. It's a pasuk in the Torah. Well, let's see. It doesn't say. Rib steak, lamb, veal, I'm okay. No chicken. Corn on the cob, they also have. So listen the pasuk. But even actually, interesting enough, great question. The offering of today was beef and chicken. It's a pasuk in the Torah. The pasuk writes, "Va'ibn Noach mizbeach laHashem, va'ikach mikol ha'behema ha'tehora, u'mikol ha'of ha'tahor, va'ya'al olot ha'mizbeach." Offering of a sacrifice. And it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu התחיל ראש חודש כסלו, התיר לו את הבשר לאכילה. Hashem says now, Rosh Chodesh starting, go ahead and eat meat. Perhaps from here we learn the mitzvah of Sa'udat Rosh Chodesh. Is a thought. Is only a thought, because as we learned in the past, from the creation of the world till this day, everybody was vegetarian. No one ate meat. Why people didn't eat meat? Not because it was a godly commandment. They figured, oh, an animal, it's like a human. An animal eats, we eat. An animal sleeps, we sleep. An animal drinks, we also do. Whatever humans do, animals also do. At least on the physical aspect of life. Then you have the intellect, the power of speech, the brain, the freedom of choice, etc. So many people perhaps thought that, hey, I'm a human. How can I eat? So maybe the Torah is telling us, an animal, it's an animal. A human, it's a human. You understand the difference? Even in the prayers of Kippur, in the Amidah, we speak about the 4 levels of creation. We begin with the lowest type, known as domem, the inanimate objects. Then we go to tzomeach, matters that grow, matter that flourish. High living creatures means animal kingdom, and medaber, humans. So the human is on a higher level. Animals next, flowers, fruits, vegetables, trees, grass, third, and the last of all, it's called domem. That's why in the English vocabulary, sometimes you go to a bookstore, Barnes and Noble, and what they tell you, Windows for dummies, kosher for dummies, domem. That's the reason why it's called dummies. Dummy comes from domem. It's not cute, it's the reality. This chair is domem. This chair is inanimate. Obviously, it has life. That's why it's called a chair. It has a godly energy, like a table. But if I don't move the table, if I don't move the chair will remain here till Mashiach comes. But is able to remain a chair because there is a godly element that makes it to be a chair. Otherwise, it will be gone. It will be broken, or it will not be useful, etc. And it goes further and it says what I mentioned before. Sometimes Rosh Chodesh is 1 day or 2 days. Additionally, it says the following, that one of the main reasons that the month of Kislev is so powerful, I believe that I recall reading in the name of Rabbi Haim Palachi. I'm 98% sure that he explains that this is the month that belongs to Reuven. Reuven, which is born in this week's Torah portion. When the Torah switched the topic, when the Torah talks about the marriage, the famous marriage of Yaakov and Leah, Yaakov and Rachel, as we know, this Shabbat is going to be Makam Ajam. This Makam is Ajam, right? Is always utilized whenever there is a Simcha, a happy occasion. For example, last night when we were praying for the Achnasa Sefer Torah event, what tune did we use? The same tune that we use in the Huppah. Why? Because the Torah considers the essence of the Torah like a marriage, a renewing the vows between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Am Israel. So it says that Reuben was the firstborn of Yaakov and Leah. And what pasuk does the Torah mention when Leah becomes pregnant? Let's read very quickly the pasuk. The pasuk writes and it says, Bataha Leah batelet ben. Leah conceived and gave birth to a baby boy. Batikra shemo Reuven. She called his name Reuven. Ki amra, she said, Ki ra'a Hashem be'oni. God saw my hardship. Ki ata ye'ehevani ishi. Because now my husband will love me. Let me ask you a question. Do you need to have a child for your husband to love you? If you wait for love to come in a marriage until a baby is born, then there is an issue in your marriage. But to the credit of Leah, we cannot forget the past, that she got married. Maybe that chair needs replacement. It may be something with the chair. Yes, maybe put it aside. Maybe God is saying, I'm leaving the spirit of the chair, get a new one. True, by the way. That's basically what it means. I hope you're doing good. You good? Baruch Hashem. Thank God. I got worried. Thank God. No, life is good. Thank God. Now we can try to fix it later. Sure, of course. Anyways, but I think that the answer to this pasuk is to know, how did Leah marry Yaakov? It wasn't part of Yaakov's plans to marry Leah. How do we know the pasuk? How do we know that? The pasuk says, "Vayhi boker behine hi Leah." Imagine yourself, they got married the night before. They did not have electricity or cell phones with a flashlight. So the curtain was closed. The next morning they wake up. Yaakov, good husband, says to his wife, "Good morning, sweetheart. What a beautiful wedding we had." And Yaakov says, "I'm going to open up the windows so some natural light comes in." That's what the pasuk says. Vayhi boker, yani the sunrise, behine hi Leah. And suddenly, Leah is in the bedroom. Hazako Baruch. Not a doubt. But she felt that the only reason why Yaakov married her is because her sister was willing to sacrifice her own wants in order to protect the honor of her sister. So she knew that Yaakov Avinu was not thinking of her. He wasn't thinking of her. He was thinking of Rachel. So now she says, now that I have a child, now Yaakov Avinu becomes a father. And because he becomes a father, now we have something that join us properly, emotionally, etc. Obviously, we can think about all the drama behind the scenes, but let's clarify. This is not a soap opera. Every move that happened in this parasha on the relationship between Yaakov and Rachel, Yaakov and Leah, and the birth of the children, it's like God is moving the pieces of the puzzle to fit everyone whatever they suppose to be. Very, very, very good. Yesterday, we left the class when we discussed two particular elements. Number one, we discussed about the topic of the importance of the family and the importance specifically of the community. That a person, I'm not sure if I said this yesterday, but I want to say it very quickly, that one of the additional lessons based on the Gemara of yesterday, Masechet Yevamot, is that a person needs to be affiliated or connected or involved in the community. Even though the person may say, I'm strong enough, believe me, no one is strong enough. Without the presence of the community, we go down. It's like a person who doesn't come to shul 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, for a whole week. It takes another week to start catching up. So I think that it's imperative to say that a person, whatever the person may be in the world, to make sure that a person is connected and affiliated to the community, because the zechut of the community by default elevates the person. Even though the person may say, I'm not doing major changes in my life. Guess what? Sometimes the idea is not to make a major change. The idea may be limited to keep up whatever you are doing. You understand the difference? Maintain. Maintenance, it's important. Stability is important. It's like you call the maintenance department to maintain your car. Your car is running good. Why you need to spend half a day? No, because I need to balance the wheels. I need to do an oil change. I need to replenish all the fluids. Guess what? Our neshama, our essence of who we are as Yehudim requires maintenance as well. And many times that maintenance, besides our personal and private behavior, but that has, if I can say this, a limited power. The supplemental vitamins that we need our soul, it comes from the zechut of the Kahal Kadosh, the zechut of the communities, etc. Now, another message right here. Oh, nice. Nice, as our good friend says, nice. Yesterday we discussed that I want to keep it short because we're going to have a school coming to visit the synagogue, and a school that specializes in outreach. Most of the students come from public schools. Yes, beautiful, that they are now transitioned into a wonderful outreach type of school here in South Florida. They're going to come to see the synagogue. They never saw a Sephardic Torah, so they're going to see a Torah. Now, that's what they want to come to see, how a Sephardic synagogue and a Sephardic Torah looks like. Then they're going to go to the Kollel to see the young rabbinical scholars learning. And I told the coordinator, you need to be here between 10:30 and 10:50, because by 11 I start my ladies' English class, and I must start on time to coordinate with the live schedule of iTorah.com. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Yesterday we discussed about the detriments of anger. Anger, nice. Today we're going to discuss the benefits of being calm. Calmness. You know that today, tranquilo, you know that today You can listen to music, right? That brings soothing feelings, calm, rain, forest. I don't think there is a hurricane type of a sound, but there is calm, ocean, wave, calmado. So let's see from our Torah perspective, how do I achieve that calmness without the music? I don't want to have to resort, oh, I need to wait till I get home to listen to a sound of music, orchestra, no orchestra, but no vocals, only music, in order to be calm. I want to be calm now. So it says, rule number one, it says, don't talk too much. And when you talk, don't raise your voice. I know somebody saying, Rabbi, Bahalom Alayla. It's impossible to do so. Okay, you try. The minute that we say it's impossible, so we are blocking ourselves. No, I cannot do it. That's Amalek. Remember Amalek? The 4 letters? Akshav lo, now I can't. Mahar, tomorrow. Lo yachol, it's impossible. Kasheli is difficult. Obviously, if you're going to tell yourself it's impossible. So automatically, by default, by saying it's impossible, already we're saying, why should I invest effort? So guess what? We try. We try. We try and we fail. Hazako Baruch. Don't feel so special. Many try and fail, but after falling, you can get up. It's part of our daily prayers. Kinafalti kamti. Even if fallen, I'm able to get up. So it says, speak little, bekol namuch. Undertone, quiet, don't raise your voice, don't talk, yani, like you're in a flea market or in a supermarket. Talk normal. And don't laugh at others, and be honest, and don't swear, and don't say things that even though they may be true, but exaggeration and mocking, besides the prohibition of mocking anyone, but it creates a detrimental effect on the life of the person. And that's why the Torah added so many paragraphs and sentences in the Torah Akedoshah, especially when it comes to Perashat Noah. The first time in the Torah that the Torah is telling us how to speak, besides God's dialogue and asking Adam Arishon, where are you? And asking Cain, where is your brother? Those were specific lessons that we learned. But the first time in our Torah that the Torah tells us how we should speak is actually Perashat Noah. The same Perashat of the barbecue, the same Perashat of the rainbow, the same Perashat of the bow, the same Perashat of Sagittarius, the way he said before, is the same Perashat that the Torah tells us how to speak. You know what I'm going to say now. I'm going to close the book. Can I close the book? No. Hazako Baruch. Nice. But what I'm going to say now, I think that I can close the book. This way we can finish up in the next 5 minutes. There is, you heard this mistama from me, or obviously in your Kolel or other synagogues Torah classes, but I'm going to go very, very quickly to a very peculiar statement that comes from the Mishnah in Masechet Pesachim. I'll say it to you in Hebrew, and then we'll translate. If you understand Hebrew, you will understand right away the first question of the Gemara. The Mishnah in Pesachim says, Or le'arba'a asar, bodkim et hames le'or haner. Literally means to the light, listen to the words, to the light of the 14th of Nisan, you search the Hames to the light of the candle. So it's dark or light? How do you know that it's dark? Because you use a candle. Hazaku Baruch. So far, so good. So you don't understand. If it's dark, and the reason why you use the candle is because it's nighttime. So why the Mishnah says the word or? Or means what? Light. So light usually means daytime. So why doesn't the Mishnah begins by telling me to the night of the 14th of Nisan, we search the Hames with a candle? It would make sense. So the first question the Talmud asks is, what's the meaning of the word or? If it's night, why do you say or? Say Laila. And if it's daytime, why do you need a candle? Do I need a candle in this room now? Do I need a flashlight in this room? Why not? Hazaku Baruch. So make up your mind. Is it night or is it day? 2 pages and a half, or now 1.5 pages, the Gemara writes the word or means night. So then why you start with such a word that brought me a lot of questions? To teach me, le'olam, the Talmud says, forever. Yani when the Gemara writes le'olam, it's not like it's an optional. It's forever. Al yetze adam davar megune mipiv. Don't bring a word that connotates negativity, darkness. Because for a Jew, it's never dark. Ki yeshev b'choshech, Hashem orli. Even though I'm sitting surrounded by darkness. Darkness in this verse, it means situations in life. Obviously, there are certain situations that we have no control. But even in day-to-day living, without going to dramatic or health conditions, so to speak, day-to-day scenarios, Hashem is holding our hands. So the Gemara writes, what proof do you have that I should not say something that connotates something negative? Perashat Noah. Again, who we coming back to? Noah. You know why Noah was called Noah? His name was Menachem, not Noah. Why do we call him Noah? Because he had an easy personality. Noah, pleasant with godliness, pleasant with people. Na'im halichot. He was a gentleman. He was smiling, saying good day, good night, saying please, saying thank you, recognizing, expressing gratitude. He was a superman. No pressure. He was mamash, an unbelievable person. That's why the Torah calls him Noah, Mr. Nice Guy. You know that sometimes they say wise guy. Usually they say wise guy. What does that mean? Shtikel Hacham. He was Mr. Nice. Mr. Nice. That was Noah. So what happened in Bereshit Noah? When Hashem tells Noah, bring into the ark the animals, the Torah uses a very strange language. Bring the animals which are poor and the animals which are not pure. Instead of saying tahor, tameh, pure, impure. The Torah added extra letters to say asher enena tehora, which is not pure. Now, didn't you say impure? If later on in Perashat Shemini, when you talk about the loss of kashrut, you tell me this animal is tameh. Short answer, because Perashat Noah is not about the loss of kashrut. Perashat Noah is about the flood and how Noah followed God's directives. So for that isolated scenario, I can say poor, not pure. But when I need to tell the Jewish world this meat is kosher and this animal is not kosher, I must tell you impure so you will understand the consequences of consuming non kosher meat. You understand now? So, with that being said, the Gemara says, why do I need to say the word darkness? When you go to sleep, right? What do you say to your spouse? Good night. Look at the word. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. In Hebrew, how do you say good night? That's the Hebrew. But Torah, how do you say good night? No. Betov talinu. Torah way of saying good night. Betov talinu. You put the good first. The Hebrew, modern Hebrew, that is modern Hebrew, doesn't has the guidelines of the Torah, has the guidelines of the Hebrew language. But the Torah way of saying good night is Betov Talinu. And how do you answer when somebody says good night? Berahamim Takisu. May you wake up with compassion. So somebody says Betov Talinu, have a good night's sleep. Betov means good. Talinu, sleep overnight. That's why there is a Torah prohibition, lotalin. Lotalin means a few things. Certain sacrifices cannot be kept overnight. And if there is also a certain tragic situation, the remains cannot be exposed overnight. So somebody says to you good night, Betov Talinu. Betov Talinu. With goodness, sleep at night. And your answer is back, Berahamim Takisu. Wake up with compassion. Those who know. Now I made it public. Betov Talinu. What's the answer? Hazako Baruch. Betov Talinu. Berahamim Takisu. How do you say good morning in Hebrew? Boker Tov. How do you say good morning according to the Halakha, according to the Zohar Kadosh? Safra de Mare Tav. Safra de Mare Tav or Safra Tava. It's not dictionary, so people just follow the secular language. Boker Or, but the Kabbalistic proper way according to the Gemara, you should not say good morning before you pray. Aramit, of course. So this way we block the malachim of gravitating to the good morning. So what do you say? Safra de mare tav. In English, safra means morning. De mare, you means the person. Tav, good. So how do you answer back? Tabhu le mare. May be also good for you. The Gemara teaches us, and this will finish. When I usually say that, that means I go into overtime. But today I'm going to finish because I got to be ready for the school. Now, I don't mind, but come back at 11. It's going to be a whole different topic. You can watch it live from iTorah. Today's class for the ladies is going to be recapping the 10 miracles that happened in the Bet HaMikdash. Based on Pirkei Avot chapter 5 in the middle. That's the topic of today. But let's recap. In the evening you say Betov Talinu. Now you're going to go to your wife tonight and you're going to say to her Betov Talinu. You say, what is that, Chinese? Relax. You're not forced to change it. I'm only telling you how even in the way we formulate sentences. Remember yesterday when we were discussing the Hafetz Haim lesson, and it says whenever you need to start a conversation or a meeting that it could lead to some type of hiccup. In other words, let's say I have in my to-do list in the next 48 hours two major disastrous cases. Mega cases. Don't even ask. All related to personality, to drama, to Shalom Bayit issues. Very unfortunate. Very sad. So it says, in the Hafetz Haim said it, that when you start a meeting or a conversation of this nature, don't start with a problem. Don't say, we have a problem. Because you're already putting the note, the tune, to the meeting. Only what's going to happen? You start with something positive. Let's look for the solution. Because dwelling in problems, although sometimes you have to explain what the problem is in order to find a solution, you know what a good friend of mine says? There are no problems. There is always solutions. And there are no problems but situations. Hazaku Baruch. Many of them are challenges. Some of them are rotten personalities. That's a different shiur. That's why Noah was a nice fellow. God says, I like you. So it means that if a person acts in a proper way, Hashem says, I like you. Hazaku Baruch. Okay, my good friends? So we'll say good day to everybody. Kaddish, Rabbi Hananiah, you read the Kaddish on the wall. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך הרבה להם תורה מצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפש למען צדקו, דיל תורה וידיר. קדיש, יתגדל. אמן.